Alright, so welcome back. So as you can see, I made some changes to our Flask project bit.ly clone. So you can see I used a Jumbotron and then add some navbar, and now at least you can see that because if you logged in, these two are going to leave. You can click this to register, click this to log in, go to the home page, and now you can see the local storage shows up. I also create some links so you can link it, and it gives 404 because I cleared the database. And then if I go ahead and log in, and just go ahead and log in, they're going to redirect me to the dashboard page, which now it actually keeps tracks of clicks. So now if I click here, all right, and now if I refresh this page, now I can see, oh, we got 2 clicks. And then later we will learn how to live updating the clicks number, but that won't be our focus. So today is the last actual content update we're going to do. So today we're going to focus on creating an API or a RESTful API for finish up our Flask project, and then we're gonna write tests for our Flask project, and then after that, I'm gonna deploy this to third-party server. Okay, so now what I will do is I would, by the way, it will enable you to scroll and have like more than 5. It's going to allow you to scroll down. But yeah, that's about it. So before I talk about API, what I want to know is what is an API? So API is an application programming interface. This is used for when you want to essentially let a service talk to another service. Generally, the service is usually web or other external API services. So essentially, what we want to do is we would allow user, like some other user, able to shorten their URL and dynamically return using a REST API response. REST is just representational, some representational state technology, I think. I don't remember what it stands for, but we'll use REST, which is usually a JSON response, and then user will be able to fetch the data effectively. So we'll have 3 API routes essentially. So what we'll have is user is able to substitute only the custom parameter. So the user will check, is this code available? Because like if I shorten the URL and then I use a different link, and then I will use IDK, and then you will say code already exists. So the user can know this by substituting a custom parameter, or the user can just provide URL parameter, so we will automatically generate a shortened URL for them, or user can substitute both URL and custom parameter, which then both URL and custom parameter, which it will be able to shorten URL with the specific code that user gave to us. So a great API start with a great doc. So we'll talk about how to create docs later. We'll focus on create API content itself for now. Alright, so we're back to our Flask app, and now what we're going to do is we're going to implement a new route called /API. So this basically will allow user to talk to each other. For the sake of time and simplicity, we're not going to use any authentication. Any user from any IP address, as long as they can access to this website, they should be able to get a response. So we'll say now it will enable to for both get and post request, because the API has different requests also. So for the two URL requests, actually shortening URL, there will be post. The check whether custom is available or not will be get. So we will say if request method equals post, else, which is get. So else, which we will have an API. So check is custom code available. So first is we need to see does the user actually provide a custom code or not. Which then we can say if not request.args.get custom. What I would say is return JSONify error code equals 400, which generally means some error happened, and the error going to be equals to you didn't provide custom code that you want to check. So notice that we need to import another module from Flask or JSONify. By the way, I finally realized that I used two URL for here. And then return JSONify will return a JSON response. If you don't know JSON, you can Google it. Essentially, it's just JavaScript object notation. It's a common way to let service talk to each other. Yeah, so now if they do have their custom code, what I would say is c.execute, then we will say URL start from URLs where autocode, we want to make sure we don't have duplicated autocode also. It's not equals to custom and code actually we'll say equals to, so we'll check the equality equals to custom, and then custom we request.args.get custom, and then if the length of URL is indeed 0, then what I would say is we're gonna return JSONify code equals 200, which just means everything's good, and then description will be, oops, no quotation marks here. Your custom code is available as of now. Otherwise, we're going to return JSONify code equals 400 and error equals your custom code already exists. Alright. So now, if we go and start this Flask app, and now we're going to introduce one of the best API testing platform here. This is called CodePen. Excuse me, it's not called CodePen, it's called Postman. You can go to here, postman.com/downloads to download for free. And then essentially what we can say is we can use request to basically use request to use this to get API request. So we'll use this for API testing manually. So we'll say HTTP, make sure you don't have S. It will cause some error if you do. Okay. 0.0.0.0, colon 1, 2, 3, 4. I say custom equals to IDK, which we expect a response say /API Then we will say, you can add a key now, which we can say custom value is IDK, which is a value that's already existing in our database. Okay. Okay, well, I don't know why this is not working. No, we'll just test it manually. So if we put it, oops. So we'll say http://1234 0.0.0/1234/API use question mark. Then you put your key here, custom equals IDK, which we expect a response. Did I forget .fetch all again? Oh my god, it's so hard to remember this. Alright, if you try to do that again, which we would expect, you can see, wait, what? We'll use war. We won't check the both. Yeah, so now you can see error 400, your custom code already exists. Alright, that's great. So now what I will do is I would go ahead and do the post request, which means we actually shorten the URL. So we will say if not request.form.get URL, this is a required parameter, we'll return JSONify, say code 400, error, please fill out URL parameter. And then what I will say here is if not request.form.get custom. So we don't have the custom code here, which means the user just won't automatically generate one. Then we will say first is actually testing, do we have valid URL or not? So we want to make sure we use a valid, we want to make sure we check the valid URL in Python. So we will use this regex to check whether we have the same. We don't need to worry about Django. We will use regex, so we will paste it here. And let me go into. Actually, I would go ahead and create in helpers. I will go ahead and create another function called validate URL, which will take in a URL parameter. Return URL. It's not none, so this is how you use it. Going to return true if it works. If it's a valid, it's going to return false if it's not valid. So we will say here. Actually, we'll be before test it. So we will say if not validate, which will give a URL. So request.form.get URL. Now we will say is return JSONify code equals 400 error equals please fill out all required fields. Oh no, wait, what am I saying? Your URL is not valid. Alright, if it passes this, then we'll say if not, request the form.get custom. Now we'll just automatically generate one. So what will happen is we'll actually run this command here. So this is what happening here. But return's not exactly what I want to do. So what I will do is for now just copy all these. Copy a little bit too much. So we'll worry about refactor them later. Actually, I will refactor on my own. So this one can refactor this code to another function. Okay, so now this should return just sonify success. So code equals 200, URL equals base URL, and then we will say this is autocode. Then we will say is if request a form.get custom is we will run the I should really refactor it right now. But then what we will say is we will first check. So we'll first check is it valid or not. And then copy it to here. And then we will say code already exists. Great. Now what I would say is I will declare. Now what I will actually do is time's not really necessary in this case because it cannot manage it. Because how this authentication works, you cannot manage this. Okay. So we will say we don't even have this. Assuming the autocode though. So we'll use this. Just on 400 and okay. Then here we'll just return just sonify code equals 200 URL equals to base URL, and then autocode we don't Do we have autocomplete? No. So what happened is just a custom doesn't really work that much. Nobody has the right to change it anyway. So request the form to get. Okay. Change to single quotation marks. Okay. Let's go test this out. Yep. Okay, so that should be it. Let me go check every URL one by one. Okay, code already exists. Since rest of the URL you need a post request, so have to send using Postman. Let's say HTTP // 0.0.0.1234. Then we'll say URL equals https / google.com. Oh yeah, it's post. Place all the URL parameter. I did. If not, request.form.get URL. Return just sonified. This is weird. So just print out this debug time. Okay, yeah, it's empty. Oh, why doesn't this work? Okay. I shouldn't really do this because I'm a tutorial and I'm watching other people's tutorial, but I think this should work. Yeah, rest, yeah. Post, yep. Okay, this is not really helpful, but what? You know what? Plan B, we won't use post anymore. I cannot figure out why post not working. I don't know why it's not working. You know what? Everything gonna be in get. That's it. Okay. Arcs. It's supposed to be request the arcs like all the way where. Well, I guess that's too late now. Request the arcs. Oh, oops, yeah. Habitually defined here. Let's index route. I'm not caring about that route. Show that again. It's down again. Let's try again. Give a sec. Didn't provide the custom we want to check. Arcs. Okay. Your custom code is available as of now. Okay, let's try again here. Oh my god. Let's put here. Hope it works now because my purpose was not. He did not provide for number 3. Which line is it? See the 207. Okay. Yeah, they're being useless. Well, the good thing is they actually executed. I mean, but I still cannot figure out why that thing not working though. Okay, more errors. Serial values for 7 columns. Okay, we don't wanna. Okay, now it's working. So just to double check. I'll put it here. Yep, redirect me to Google. Good. Now what I would do is provide custom parameter. So what I would do here is and not request.args.get custom and URL. Okay. Oh, I forgot to do the commit thing. Wait, I did. Why isn't it? URLs. Then why isn't this in the? Okay, just more null column. Okay, this is required the arcs. Let's try that again. Okay, original URL is good, but the code it doesn't work. Custom. C.execute insert into URLs, origin URL, to code click, blah blah blah. Did we not have this custom parameter? I provided here though, but didn't get it. Send a request. Yeah, we do have it. We do have the custom. So what's wrong? Start get custom. Okay, well, it works now. I mean, now if I send a request again, yeah, code already exists. Okay, so it fixed now magically. And then, yeah, that's about it, actually. But what we'll do is we will, in our static, we'll provide API.markdown. So this basically going to tell you how to use our API. So we'll say bit .clone API base. This is important. Gonna bold this. Base URL equals. Since we didn't deploy this, that's 0.01234. We have 2, so slash API. So actually we don't provide that. Slash API comma custom check whether a given code already exists our database or not, and then say return 200 if not, otherwise we'll return. This is a REST API. And all response were written in JSON. If an error occurred, there will be an error code and error code and error key to describe what happened. Otherwise, we'll return 400. We also have slash API slash question mark URL create a new shortened URL by generating random 7 digits alphanumeric characters. Should always return 200. If not, no, it's not here. 200 with new URL key. Otherwise, we'll return 400 if the URL is not valid. And then we'll say slash API comma URL equals end custom. So this will a new shorten by users given code. Return 200 with URL key. Otherwise, we'll return 400. URL is not valid. Or the custom code is not valid. $200. Okay. 100 error. 100 internal server error. And then we will say 2 under maintenance, just in case we'll have that. Alright, so that's about it for this tutorial. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe if you like this content and want to support my channel. 6 for all 9 subscribers. I want to see can we hit 10 subscribers at the end of this week. But yeah, thanks for watching. All of them will be available at GitHub. Thanks for watching. Again, see you next tutorial where we will write some tests to test our application automatically.